Welcome to the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr. I am a transformational mindset and business coach and six-figure award-winning female entrepreneur. Ladies, I'm here to tell you that business and making money doesn't have to be hard when you're in alignment and flow. Inside this podcast, I will be showing you how to transform your mindset to program it for success, how to maximize your money vibrations, and how to redesign your business for ultimate financial and time freedom. You know you are meant to live an epic life. Now it's time to claim it. Hi ladies, welcome to another episode of the Femalepreneur Coach podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited to record this episode as always. It's actually going to be a little bit of a shorter episode, but it was something that I just felt really cool to share again as always, because I was having a conversation with, as part of a magazine article actually, I was being interviewed and I was asked a question about how I thought that, having kids and having a family had shaped my business journey. And it was quite an interesting question to me. So I thought, do you know what? This would make a really good podcast episode just to talk about this a little bit more. But a lot of the time people think that when I say that my children have influenced how I do business, they assume that it's because obviously I want to be, work flexibly, work around my kids, and that I also have a deeper connection to my work because I have children. And that is true. Absolutely. But it isn't actually the reason or the driving force of what has actually influenced my business and how I coach. And that is the fact that actually what they've done, they always say children are your greatest teachers. And that, it's just so true to me as a parent. I think I always had a sense of identity and self before I had the kids. But really, until you have children and you start to see the world through their eyes, you really see what it's all about. I used to be so motivated in different ways. Money, success meant what car you drove, what job you had, how big your house was, what your portfolio was, where you'd been in the world. And some of those things are true. Yes, I believe that life is all about experiences. But then when you actually have children, and for me, obviously having 5, it really made me slow down and just appreciate the moments in between. So rather than always looking for that next goal, that next thing, that next milestone, it was actually being super present in the moment and appreciating like the next smile and the next family moment and really meaningful conversation and connection. So when they say things like children are your greatest teachers, it's absolutely true, because they also made me question everything that I thought I knew about life and what my goals were. So for me growing up, I never had the opportunity to go to college or go to university. I wasn't living at home by the time I finished school. I was living with a friend's family and had been for some time. So when it came to then leaving school at 16, I think I was already working 2 jobs. and literally I remember very vividly that the person that I was working for actually dropped me off to my exam. So even as soon as I'd finished like full-time classes, I was straight away working full-time, and they dropped me to my exam, waited for me to finish, and then took me back to work. So for me, my whole life in my early 20s, it was all about when I have kids, I'm going to really make sure that they have access to so much education, that they go off and have these incredible experiences, go to university, find themselves, get good jobs, and they never have to accept anything that I went through. Now, obviously, my journey since having children and has just really turned that on its head, particularly as a coach. I think I'm so much more aware of how education isn't for everybody. And the reality is you can make so much more money online than you can by going through a corporate route, which is what I did. I went to HR, I invested thousands as a mature student in getting my master's degree and 10 years of building a career. And then when things really hit the fan for me personally, my work wasn't there to support me. So complete side note, going completely off track. But when I'd always thought about wanting to be an entrepreneur. Absolutely. I always knew that I had this desire inside me to do something more, and that the world was a much bigger place than where I'd grown up. So I was from like a really small town on the south coast. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody had children. Everybody, rarely went to college, rarely did anything with their life. They absolutely didn't travel. They didn't see the world. So me already feeling that pull, almost like the heart of a gypsy, wanting to travel and do things, already set me apart from everybody else around down there. So I'd actually relocated to go and live with family probably, I don't know, I think I was about 13, 14, I left home, and then I went to go and live with an aunt, and I kind of bounced around different family members, moved to Hertfordshire, and then again didn't work out there, and I ended up, by the time I'd finished school at 16, I was actually living with a friend and their family, which was really, really, really good. But I'd always known that there was more out there for me, and that I just never wanted to have an ordinary life. It's like the cards have been dealt for me in a way that I just never had a traditional upbringing. And so therefore I knew that I always wanted to do more. However, I never would have done it. I dabbled, I tried, I was curious about having a business. Every time I had a baby and I was on maternity leave, I always looked for a way to perhaps not have to go back to corporate, but never really was brave enough to take that leap and go all in. And then what happened, for anybody that's familiar with my story, was that my mum was my main caregiver at the time. So this was 8-9 years ago now, when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey. And I'd gone to, like, quite happily in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, ready to go off with the kids under my arms, because I had 3 children at that point. 2 were toddlers and 1 had only just started reception. And I was ready to go and start my day, went to my mum's, knocked on the door, and she'd essentially had a stroke, and it was really unexpected. From that day forward, she couldn't have my children anymore. I had no backup, I had no resources. And obviously when I went to my work, they were like, yeah. So this was before the days of COVID, where they could offer any element of flexible working. Even though I'd been there for like absolute years, they didn't want to help me to give me any time to kind of figure it out. And it was a bit like, well, if you're not going to be here doing your time and your hours, then we can't help you. So I literally had to quit my job, sell my house, go all in and run a business, basically. First opportunity that came along was a barbershop. Absolutely had no business running that barbershop, didn't know what the hell I was doing. I had to relocate to buy it, and that was a whole big thing. So just kind of reverting back to my original question about how does being a mother shape my business, it isn't about this burning desire to see, like, you know, to make the world a better place for my kids. It absolutely is. But what I've realised as a parent actually is definitely reevaluating what is important in life and what ultimately I'm striving for. I always said I'd be that mum that would just give their kids every opportunity to, you know, if they want to go to college, they go to college. If they want to travel, they travel. But what I've realised really is actually that I have 5 children, and not one of them is even remotely similar in personality. Now, despite having the common factor, which is me, that, you know, some of them couldn't be more different from me if they tried. So I've got my oldest daughter, Amelie, who is a complete introvert. She is very techie, really artistic. Like, I don't even know where she came from, because I am not artistic at all. And then I've got my next daughter down, Brooke. She is probably the closest to me, and probably my personality type, and probably the reason why we clash so much, because she's like the uninhibited version of me. So obviously my childhood was quite difficult. I definitely had in me that desire to make people happy, to be a bit of a class clown, to, you know, all of those great things, jazz hands, and just entertain and be a nurturer and just light everybody's life up. That's all I wanted to do as a child, and I wasn't set up for that. I had a really, you know, quite heavy childhood, and, you know, that side of me was never nurtured. It was actually, you know, always in trouble, be quiet, sit down, get out of the way, which I'm sure a lot of people from my generation can relate to, because that's just how our parents were. And, you know, not to go down that rabbit hole, but essentially Brooke is jazz hands. She is like a big personality, big heart, big emotions, a complete nurturer like me. She is just all singing, all dancing. She does gymnastics, she does karate, languages, cooking, like such an overachiever. Couldn't be more different from Amelie. Always recruiting friends, always like complete extrovert and the centre of attention in any room, but also like super nurturing and really like just, they're all just beautiful humans anyway. But then my oldest son, Riley, is a bit of a class clown, so many friends, but also like a bit of an introvert, very techie, loves his gaming. Absolutely don't know how to help him with any of that. But how I parent him versus the girls is very different. How I talk with him is very different. And then my next son down, Luciano, is very I want to say he's like a ladies' man, really. Like, he's really intuitive to who's in the room and he's very adaptive. Like, his personality is quite interesting. Like, he always knows how to, I don't know. When I used to drop him off to nursery, it would be quite funny because he'd always like identify someone, and he'd like go over to one of the ladies and sort of be like, "I'm so sad," sort of thing, and know that if I say this, they're going to pick me up. And then when I pick him up later, they were like, "Oh my God, he's just so lovely. We've had the loveliest day. Like, he's so cute. He says the nicest things." Like, I'm like, "Yes, I know." And it'll be someone else tomorrow. Like, he's just very in tune to how to get the most out of people, but his personality also fascinates me as well, because he is very, I think he's going to be like an engineer or something. Like, he's the kind of kid that just, we went on holiday recently where you would assume that he would be in the pool all day because he's 4 and just living his best life. There was actually 2 days where he didn't even go into the water. He just sat by the side with me, and he can be one that he just doesn't go with the crowd. Like, he doesn't make friends easily. He's very much his own person. He loves to take things apart. He's always got a screwdriver. We actually took a screwdriver and batteries on holiday with us because he's just obsessed with finding out how things work. So he's always got everything, every toy he's got is like a remote device that has batteries, and he'll go off and change them himself. It's so funny, like a little adult, and he's always wanting to like take things apart and customize them. And "Mummy, can you take this bit off this so I can put it on this?" And like, it's just so fascinating to me. Like, so much confidence. Like, he's out there building forts in the garden completely by himself. And then my youngest daughter, little Miss Aviana, is just an absolute whirlwind. She's probably most like Brooke, an absolute ball of emotions, really headstrong, like just makes the others run rings around her, as you would expect being the youngest. So how has this shaped my business journey? And I think what it's made me realise as a business coach, because when I started coaching 5 years ago, I'd started off in business, and I've been an entrepreneur now for over 8 years, and that's kind of how I started. So I was mentoring students at the university. Then I started supporting other women in business through my Chamber of Commerce. Then I started to take on private clients. Then I moved online probably about 3 years ago, maybe even longer actually now. God, you know what it's like when you have kids, you just don't know about dates anymore. I really need to get my dates in order. But I moved online and started to like expand my reach and obviously help women to move their businesses online. And I was basically learning from experts in the industries that I was most familiar with. And it was very much about getting a signature system, having one way and one clear path to success, and just kind of educating people, translating that for them so that they could then, do what they need to do and hit all of these milestones and things that, all of this structure and stuff that you need to get in place in your business. But how that's kind of evolved over the years is that as I've started to get into those processes, as I've started to make my own opinions about what's going on in the industry, and as I've started to expand my networks and have these conversations with other women and other men and, all of these great things, as I've invested in my own mentors and being able to kind of apply my processes into my own signature system, what I've realised is there is no one way to business. There absolutely isn't. And I think also having an offline business has given me a whole layer of resilience, but also creativity when it comes to business. So when I find people like absolutely agonizing over their algorithm and how much engagement they've got on a post and, not being able to get into a DM and have a conversation, for me, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you can still make money anyway. You're leaving money on the table. And I think that comes from my kids as well, understanding that they will all go out into the world and do completely different things. Their personalities could not be any more different. And it's really kind of shaken my belief in the education system. I think lockdown probably did that a lot for a lot of us parents, when you realised actually the arbitrary nature of what they were being taught. I had my 7-year-old absolutely beside herself at one point because she couldn't remember her Roman numerals and some Latin words that needed to be translated. And I'm like, what? How is this? We're in the middle of a pandemic. There's people out there dying. Really? This is what you're choosing to use the precious time that my kids have to really make them feel shit about themselves because they can't remember their Roman numerals? Newsflash, we have Google, and you're never going to use that as an adult. And I think that really started to kind of unpick for me a lot of what I'd built my belief system on, that, I'd almost been at a disadvantage growing up, that I'd never been able to like find my way and go to college and university and really see my own potential. Well, actually now I see it as such a huge plus that I just went out into the world of work and just found my way. You know, I traveled, I did incredible things, I had amazing experiences. I lived abroad, I worked abroad. I worked in events in Dubai, in Egypt. I travelled the world. I did incredible things all before like the age of 25 sort of thing. Now I realise that I wasn't the one at the disadvantage. Everybody else around me was. All of the people that have been told that their only path was college and you had to work really hard to get good GCSEs to go and then go to college and then go to university if you were lucky. Like, God, I feel sorry for those people now, because truly the experiences that I've had in life are even hard to explain. And sometimes when I talk to people, I forget, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I forget. Like I went on this like multi-million-pound yacht on the River Nile in Egypt. And yeah, I was having dinner with sheikhs. And yeah, I forget that like I was in Monte Carlo and had when they were filming the VMAs and was chatting with Avril Lavigne. Like I forget about all of these crazy things before I had kids, and that life used to be so free. And now seeing the kids growing up and just developing their own little personalities, and they all have just intuitively, I guess, because I'm being the change I want to see, like they've all got that entrepreneurial spirit in them as well. So I'm even thinking at some point I may even end up homeschooling my oldest daughter, because I've just realised, high school isn't for everybody. She's definitely an introvert. She's not enjoying the process. Like, we'll have to see. Anybody that follows my journey on this podcast, like, I'll see how that works itself out. Because there's also that battle of building her resilience and everything else. But what I'm realising is as well that where we feel like we need to do our time and we have to like earn our stripes, the reality is you can collapse time at any point. If you're really committed to an outcome and you are open to creative nudges and finding a solution, you will get there as you're meant to. Like, it's going to happen. You don't need to wait 2 years to make money in your business. You don't have to massively undercharge for your services just because you're a startup. You can start making incredible money now as long as you do it your own way. And that's what I think has been the biggest lesson for me as a business coach. And it's one of the reasons now why when I work with a one-to-one client, what I do is, even before we've even really set out the strategy as such, it's all about getting to know each other. So first of all, will always be money mindset. What are your money archetypes? What are your patterns and behaviors around money? How do you like to make money? How do you like to spend money? Like all of those great things. So if that's something that you're interested in, really getting to the root of your money blueprint, then come and join me over in my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, because that work is powerful and every woman needs to do it. Whether you have money or not, you will still have toxic beliefs around money that need to be cleared. And for true financial empowerment, it's about having that neutral relationship as it relates to money. So absolutely, if you haven't done that already, come and join me over in there. And then it's about understanding yourself. Like, what are the parts of your personality that are your strengths? What things light you up? What parts of your business do you hate? Do you not hate? And then from there, you can decide how you get to make money. What is the strategy for you to scale your business? Because all you really need to do is to have a product that you want to sell, some sort of connection to why it's important and why you want to sell it, so that you can have conviction behind it. And then you need to speak to the right people and make sure that they know that you have the solution. And that is it. That's as easy as it can be when making money. We overcomplicate it and we think it's got to be about our funnels and ads and email sequences. But really, people buy from people. And all they want to do is know that they are safe if they invest with you. Whether that's a product that's creating an experience or whether it's a service and you're delivering a transformation, they want to know, if I give you something, is it going to be worth it? That is it. So all you need to do as a business owner is build trust with your audience and essentially make sure that they know what it is that you do, why you do it, and how it can help them. And that is it. So if you're the kind of person who's a bit of an extrovert, like my Brooke, her medium when she's older will be video. Like, she is a great speaker. She is very animated. She's like me, high energy. Like, she's really engaging. So video, podcasts, things like this is her jam. getting her to write stuff. Actually, she can do both, to be fair, and so can I. But for some people that are really great on camera, maybe writing isn't their skill set or their strength or the jam, and that's absolutely fine, because not only can these parts of your business, if they really need to be there, be outsourced, but chances are you probably don't even need them anyway. You just need to show up and make sure that you're on the platforms that really showcase your strengths and where your ideal client is already sitting there. And again, if you're not good with consistency, which was a problem that I suffered with because I'm a manifestor generator and I also have lots of other business interests. So being consistent in one element of business was quite difficult for me, because it's like I love the variety and doing different things over here and things over there. And I'm a bit of a mover shaker. Like, I don't even know how else to explain it, but it's like I like to be juggling lots of different projects, doing lots of different things, and I thrive in those high energy situations. So I've always been good at sales. It's why I've always been good at events. It's like I'm great with in-person events and all of those things. And so what I did for the first part of my business, I was like, I have no time in my day to show up as a startup coach online, to go out and be sitting on Instagram every day. Like, I'm okay. Like, can't imagine anything worse, actually. So what I did instead was built my business through collaborations. So I just found, who do I need to know? Let's have a conversation. How can I speak to their audience? And that's essentially what collaboration is. And that was far more exciting for me, because I could turn up every day, every single day on Instagram, doing lives and like peddling my story essentially and trying to help. Or I could do and maybe pick up like people very slowly. And, you know, obviously I've gone back and I do that now, because I've got elements of my like structure of my business and But at the beginning, when I was like, no, I just want to get out there and help, it was collaborations for me. So instead, what I would do is go into a live, into a group, and speak to maybe 100 people in one go. And you best believe I got really great conversions from that. So rather than thinking, oh, I've got to do my time and wait like a year before I can make any money, I was like, no, how can I be everywhere, do all the things? Because that's my personality type. And as a manifestor generator, we are the queens of collapsing time. And what takes other people 5 years to do, to master, takes you like 2 or 1. And that's always been my personality. I am quick, high energy, all in, like all focused. So I'd love to know what you guys are. Obviously, feel free to put that in the show notes. Let me know if you're not quite sure how your human design impacts your business strategy. That's again something that I really get to know with my clients, because then I know not only are their strengths, how do we showcase them, how do we keep them in your zone of genius. This is all, you know, not only is that going to get them 10x the results because they're showing up with their best energy, but it's also going to make it feel fun. So it's not even going to feel like work, but also, you know, anything that is perhaps going to give them resistance, or, you know, I'll know we don't even need to do that. We don't even need to put that as part of our strategy. And I think that's the asset of a coach. But equally, if you're not in a position yet to invest in a coach, then I think it's about having self-awareness and knowing which part of your business right now, like, really drain you. What parts do you absolutely hate? Because if they're depleting you in any way, then you've got no business doing it. And I spoke with a potential client a little while ago, actually, and she was saying, like, I've got so much going on at home and other things with my own personal energy, I just don't think I could deal with anybody else's shit. And I remember laughing to myself thinking, right, coaching is not for you. And that's absolutely fine. Or maybe not in the way that you think that it is. That's the thing. Like, we've got these opinions of coaches that it's all about giving out your energy and being in service to others. And actually it's not. For me, coaching was the perfect solution, because I'm the kind of person that vibes off other people's energy. It's particularly like in mastermind situations, if somebody comes to me with a solution, like, absolutely, that starts my creative juices, like flowing, and I'm like bouncing off ideas, and that's my jam. So when I get on a call with a client, I can't even book evening sessions now. I try not to do one-to-one sessions or group settings in the evening, because it raises my vibration so much. I'm absolutely buzzing when I get off the call, and that could be really problematic when you then want to go to sleep after. But that's why I knew coaching was for me, because I was like, not only does this not drain me or feel like work, I'm literally zero fucks and building it in a way that absolutely suits me, and the right clients will find me. but literally it recharges my battery. My clients have actually helped me through the darkest of times, and they won't even know, because I could have been having a bad day with the kids. I could have been tired. I could have been emotional. I could have had other stuff going on, and jumping onto a call with my client, by the end of it, is like my own therapy, because I leave with such high vibrations and so bloody happy to be there. Like, genuinely, that's how I know that I am in alignment with my business and I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. And I hope that that is the case for you. It's typically the kind of things that we lose track of time in. It's the kind of things that we got told off as a child. It's in our innate personality. It's all of those things. So just to kind of circle back on the original question, how have my children shaped my business? It is, yes, all of the things that I mentioned about having that deeper connection to the work that I do, wanting to make the world a better place for them and being more motivated than ever to be successful for them and all of those great things. But actually the biggest lesson is all around. There is no one size fits all, and there is no traditional path for anybody. We are all here to create our own pathway, to create our own success, and to do it in a way that is truly in alignment with us and what really lights us up. So I hope that you have found this episode useful. I really hope so, because this is like my mission now as a business coach. So whenever you work with me, it isn't a one size fits all. It isn't my way or no way. You'll rue the day and you'll never make money in the online space if you don't follow my 6-step signature system. It's actually not. And it's one of the reasons why I love doing one-to-one programs as opposed to groups right now, because I really get to go all in on the person. And that's what enables me to quantum leap my clients' success. So where they previously were toe dipping, maybe had a little bit of success, couldn't really replicate, didn't really know what they'd done. Now for me, it's like, well, obviously, just do this, this, and this, and you're absolutely golden. Like, you're shining. People are going to respond to your energy. It isn't even going to feel like work. And if anything is coming up for you right now that is saying like, well, you can't just have fun and games in business, it can't all be that easy, then that is a symptom of a money block and a limiting belief around making money and it needing to be hard. But for me, I'm all about the queen of the path to least resistance. There are always easier ways to make money, and you just doing you, boo. So I hope you found that really useful today. That was something that I just felt was really on my heart today to share. And I hope you have a fantastic day. If you are looking for that next level of success in your business, obviously working with me on a one-to-one is a bit of an investment, but it's the best thing you'll do, because it's all about the holistic approach to business. It's not just like I say, just the business. And sometimes I've had clients that said, I can't work with you because I'm not ready to scale my business. I'm still figuring a few things out. And I'm like, no, working with a coach is like a whole life process. We up level every aspect of your life, so it all fits beautifully as a collaboration of one. Your business should serve you, not the other way around. So I've actually got a client right now who doesn't even we've kind of removed elements of our business and we're thinking about together what comes next. It's not even the business that we're working on right now, which feels really exciting. There will be a business element that comes in at some point, I have no doubt. But for now, it's like, let's just do you. Let's just focus on you. Let's up level every aspect of yourself, of your, connect to your own desires, work on your money mindset, your self-worth, heal the past traumas, and then let's start thinking about what is the next chapter for you business-wise. So I'm super honored to be part of that process, and I just absolutely love it. Like, this is what I'm here for. So if you are looking for that kind of mentorship, if you are a successful business owner already, but you're looking at ways that, how do I make sure I'm not leaving money on the table? How do I scale this business without working harder? How do I, evolve into that next level of success for me and perhaps transition away from some of the stuff that I've been doing? Just let me know. This is my jam. But otherwise, it's just about having that self-awareness in your daily activities as you move through your business. If something is not feeling right, do not do it. Find a workaround, find a creative solution to get the same outcome without doing anything you don't want to do. Anywho, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Make sure that you obviously like, subscribe, comment, leave me a review. I really appreciate it, and it helps me to reach more incredible women like you. But otherwise, have a fantastic day. thank you for listening to this episode. It's been amazing to share this time with you, and I feel honoured to be part of your journey. If you've loved what you've heard, had an aha moment, or found value in this episode, then please do like, comment and share. I would love to connect with you on Instagram and Facebook, so come and find me, and I look forward to helping you build your epic life.